Welcome to Talking Dentures, where Simon answers all your questions about dentures.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Talking Dentures, and today we've got a question from Scratchy Scott. Why does wearing dentures make my gums itch? That's an interesting one. It's not one that we hear very often, but there are a couple of situations where this can be the case, and it's usually down to a couple of things. One of the things that can make your gums feel like they're all itchy and irritated could be an allergy to either metal in the denture or the acrylic denture itself. However, we usually see this in new dentures. It's not something that will suddenly happen for most people. So that could be the cause. Another cause can be sometimes there are points in the mouth that cause pressure, which can stop the blood flow to the mouth. Sometimes that causes a kind of pins and needles feeling when they're taken out. Or sometimes it can feel like a certain numbness, but quite often in those sort of situations it's almost like a burning sensation. The only way for us to really figure out and find out what exactly is causing it is to have it checked. So get yourself booked in with a clinician, preferably the one that provided the denture, or a clinical dental technician like myself who only make dentures, and which is what we do for a living. And I say make them, but we also provide them directly to the patient as well. So we can assess them, and sometimes we can figure that out. A few of the other things that it might be: how clean is your denture? If it's covered in plaque or bacteria, then it could be that's irritating the gums. And the other thing it could be is they're just not fitting very well. That could cause the problem as well. It's one of those difficult ones without seeing the denture. For myself, if somebody comes in to me and says my mouth's feeling itchy, the only time I've ever had that is when I've made new dentures and it's been an irritation of the material that we've used. So in those situations, I'll just say, right, let's try something else. So for example, most dentures are made of acrylic. It's the acrylic that sometimes irritates people. Newly made acrylic can sometimes irritate more than a denture that's, a few weeks old. So sometimes the solution for a new denture is just leave it soaking in water for a few days. That can sometimes help, because the chemicals within the acrylic, although acrylic doesn't leach out bad materials over time, when they're first made, they can have part of the polymerization process is a chemical called monomer, which in the acrylic, and the monomer, once the denture's made, it's dispersed. It's like a gas that disappears. But if there is some trapped in the denture, it can sometimes leach out over the course of a few days, and that can irritate the gums with some people. For me, I find it's with the standard acrylics, particularly because standard acrylic denture, the acrylic has to be quite thick, and obviously the thicker the acrylic, the more chance that it's got some of these monomers trapped within the polymer, and will take a little bit longer to disperse. So just leaving the denture in some water for a few days might help. If it doesn't, as I say, go back to your clinician. In those sort of situations, might be that we make the denture out of nylon. Nylon is very tough, durable material, but it's sort of slightly flexible, so it's not ideal. The teeth don't bond to it very well because the teeth are acrylic. And this is a good point actually, even though the teeth are acrylic, they tend not to cause any problems, even though they're essentially made of the same material. But again, I think it's because the teeth are so small, there isn't any monomer trapped in it, and so it's far less likely to cause that irritation. Metal dentures, a little bit different. I've noticed that some people, they get an allergy from the metal denture, especially if it's a big metal palate which is covering the whole surface of the mouth, and sometimes it's just too much and that can cause a problem. Generally, if it's just little clasps and things on the dentures, they don't cause a problem. That's from Scratchy Scott about making your gums itch. So hopefully you don't have to have dentures that make your gums itch. As I say, it's not very common at all. It's very, very rare that that's even an issue. So I would say the first thing you need to do, if your dentures are making your gums feel itchy, just get yourself booked in, get it checked out. All right, guys, see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to send us your questions. There's a link in the description below. Bye!